Hey child, welcome back to my channel. So let me put this disclaimer out there. I am getting over bronchitis. So if I look tired, if I'm not as glamorous as what you used to, because y'all know I be starving to girl. But overall, y'all, I am not my best right now. So forgive my voice and my disposition. But I am trying to get back into my consistent bag with content creation and just share experiences with y'all. So in this particular video, we're getting ready to talk about something I haven't talked about in a while. And that is my weight loss surgery journey. Sometimes I'm a little hesitant to talk about it just because I feel like I've given a lot of information. Like my whole journey is there. And if you're new to my channel, what's up? Boom, my name is Faye. I'm 37, I'm from St. Louis, and on July 13th, 2020, the year we do not talk about, I had weight loss surgery in the form of the gastric sleeve surgery. The best decision of my life, but we'll get into that later. But overall, on my channel, I talk about some of everything. I talk about hair, I talk about wigs, I talk about clothes, I talk about my mommyhood journey, but I know some people follow me specifically for my weight loss / surgery journey. So if that is you, trust me, I understand that everything I talk about ain't your interest. So please know that there are playlists on my channel where it is my entire weight loss journey, from the day I announced that I was having surgery all the way up until now. So if you are interested in my entire journey, where you even see month by month updates after surgery, click that playlist and all the information is there. So in this particular video, because I feel like I've done a pretty decent job documenting my journey, I'm gonna give you a brief recap and then I'm gonna get into a Q&A. Basically, because I have been showing my journey on social media, I consistently get new followers or new supporters or people that are interested in that journey, and they have questions that may not have been answered in the past. And for that reason, I like to do update videos where I tell you about my journey and then I go ahead and answer everybody's questions. So that's what we're gonna do here. But first, before I do that, I wanna say that I did start a Facebook support group. It's called She Lives Well. It is an accountability group. Basically, it's pretty much a place where we come for inspiration, accountability, to talk amongst each other with like-minded people. Occasionally, if somebody want to talk about self-care, they can do that too. But overall, it's a place where we can hold each other accountable to hit our goals. Now, I do want to say, because it's called She Lives Well, clearly it is just for the women's. Women. I said women. So I will leave a link in my description box. If you are looking for accountability and inspiration, feel free to join that group. Ain't no charge, honey. We just coming together to hold each other accountable and live our best life. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video. And I start once again telling y'all all my business. So let's start at the beginning of my journey. Child, I always been a thick little mama, whether I was a smaller version of thick or a bigger version of thick. I've always had meat on my bones. It runs in my family. Child, we some thick folks. But what I noticed was in 2020, I was going through a lot of things personally, and I've always been an emotional eater. So it's like I was spiraling. And it was even worse because that's when the quarantine first happened and doing a lot of self-isolation. I was at home, I would eat and I would lay down, I was watching TV. I wasn't active, my habits was a mess, and I was really going downhill fast. And so I started considering surgery, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go that route just because of horror stories I would hear from other people, and then just like the judgment that come with it. Oh, you took the easy way out. Because at one point in time I thought that too, because I was ignorant as a mug. So I was considering surgery, but I wasn't quite sold on it. So what I did was I made an appointment to talk to a doctor who I ended up walking through this journey with, and he was telling me just kind of some of the benefits. He thought I was a good candidate, and with that I ended up talking to him about conception. In the past, and I thank God that I'm not dealing with it anymore, but in the past I dealt with a hormone imbalance called PCOS, aka polycystic ovarian syndrome. And if you look it up, it basically tells you it's harder to conceive. It would be months where I wouldn't have a cycle. It's just like things wasn't running every 28 days like it normally should. And so when I talked to the doctor about it, he was like, oh girl, if you had this surgery, I'm almost positive that's going to work itself out and you're going to be able to have a baby. And thankfully he was correct, because exactly 1 year and 2 days later I got my positive pregnancy test. But anyway, I was on the fence about surgery, but once he told me that I would be able to have a baby more than likely afterward, that was the stamp on the deal where I was like, oh, we doing this. And my approach to surgery was, because I know, and this is being honest, I know people in real life who have either had lap band, gastric bypass, something. They would have this surgery, they'll lose weight, and then they turn around and blow right back up. So for me, I was like, I am taking this as a second chance at life. Like when I tell you I took that thing seriously, I prayed about it. I went to therapy about it. I had a plan in place, and I was like, this is how I'm starting my life over. And once y'all give me this baton, I'm running with this mug and I'm not turning around. And here we are almost 4 years later. I think the proof is in the pudding. She's been successful. So yeah, that is my why. Now my weight information, my documented biggest weight early in the morning. You didn't take off all the clothes, amen. I was 293. And then like in the middle of the day, I'll be like 295 after an 8 or something. But I say that's my biggest documented weight because at a certain point in time, I knew I was spiraling and I didn't want to see a certain number on the scale, AKA in the 300. So I stopped weighing myself. And it just so happened when I started the surgery journey, it was when COVID lockdowns was going on. And so my appointments with my surgeon was all on telehealth. So I didn't have to weigh in front of him. So I lied about my weight, amen. But at my biggest, I was around 293, 295, more than likely bigger than that. And then when it was finally time to go into the office, I ain't even gonna lie to you, I didn't want to see that number, so I did keto real quick. So I got to like 280 something. Then on the day of surgery, I was 281. And in about a year's time, I went from that 293 to 205. Then I got pregnant and I got to 240 something. And that weight did not move for 6 months. I was breastfeeding, I wasn't working out, I was trying to eat a lot to keep my calories up so I could have a good breast milk supply. I wasn't worried about weight loss, so I did not lose any weight for 6 months. That's when I hired a personal trainer because I was like, no. And with the help of a trainer, I went ahead and got the weight back off and some. So I'm in the 180s or something like right now. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I broke my scale, so I really don't know the exact amount, but the last time I weighed myself, I was 188. So that is my weight journey. Now, as far as side effects of the surgery, like again, you can go through my playlist and see month by month what I was dealing with, but things that I remember specifically that jumped out at me. Acne. I dealt with breakouts on my face. So what I ended up finding out with weight loss, it impacts you hormonally. And for me, it showed up in my face. Baby, I was having like puberty style breakout. Number 2, hair loss. While I did not get excessive hair loss like a lot of people do get with surgery, I did get a little bit of child, I can't even get it out. I got a little bit of thinness in my crown that my stylist pointed out to me, and then some thinness in my hairline with my edges, but it was never anything that was too bad. Like it wasn't traumatic for me at all, but it was because I made sure, number 1, I always got, no matter how bad it felt, I got 50 grams of protein and 50 grams of carbs per day. I would drink orange juice to make sure I got carbs because for me, I have done keto in the past, and what I found was with long-term use of keto, I dealt with impacts to my hair negatively, and I didn't want that. So I made sure I had my protein and my carbs in, and I took my vitamin. As far as my vitamins go, I took a bariatric vitamin called Pro Care. I took chewable calcium from GNC, and I took a hair and nail vitamin. It was called Curl something. It's a liquid hair vitamin. I'll link it all down below. Another thing I remember dealing with was mood swings, because again, your hormones are all over the place. It was some days where I would be sad. It was some days I was just emotional sometimes, but it was completely because of my hormones. Another thing that I dealt with, I do have a little bit of loose skin, but not too bad. I do think some of that could be genetics. I'm not sure, but for me, yes, I do have a little bit, but it ain't nothing that'll send nobody running. As far as my belly, this is it. Y'all, I do have some scarring. I had a baby, so clearly I got some stretch marks, but this is what I'm looking like. So I do got a little bit of loose skin down here that y'all can't see, and I wouldn't show you because YouTube. But overall, it wasn't too bad on my stomach, and the scars, they're there, but they don't bother me. I do have a little bit of rippling on my skin on my inner thigh, but again, it's not too bad. And then I got some drooping in my arms, but I'm working on that naturally. I have not made up my mind about plastics. I'm not against it, but right now I've been enjoying contouring and recomposing my body in the gym naturally. And then I just said, once I get to my goal physique as far as like what I want it to look like, then I'll decide if I want to have any type of surgery. But the biggest thing that I dealt with for sure was dehydration, because again, you cannot eat and drink at the same time. Your stomach is so small, and right after surgery, the restriction is really tight. Like you could barely get anything. I remember the first time I did go back to eating chicken, I ate one wing from Wingstop and I was full for 4 hours. You hear me? Now I ain't even gonna lie, I can eat almost a whole 10-piece by itself. I don't eat the fries, no way, but I can eat a lot now. But back then, right after surgery, one wing, that's it. Now imagine you full for 4 hours and you still need to get something to drink, but your stomach is so tight and so full, you can't get nothing in. Baby, I was dehydrated. So that meant I was weak a lot. My energy was terrible. Thankfully, I was working at home. It was quarantine, so I didn't have to go be nowhere. But that level of dehydration, it was really, really hard to deal with. What helped me was I eventually started getting in-home nurses to come in and give me IV therapy. I would do it at least once a month, sometimes more than that if I felt like I needed it. And then, although I know, of course, water is the most important thing in a situation like that, I found that Gatorade Zero and coconut water was actually more beneficial for me. Maybe even a little bit of water with some sea salt in it. But basically, you need those electrolytes when you do drink something. And so that is what I ended up having to do. That rough patch went on for about a year. But again, once I realized, okay, go get your IV therapy or go ahead and drink that Gatorade, that helps a lot. Now, once my restriction eased up and then I was able to eat and drink a little bit more, things got better. But in that beginning, that was hard. But honestly, as far as side effects, those were the biggest things that I dealt with. Now, I know other people have different stories, and of course I can't speak to their experience, but for me, for the benefit of my life that I did receive from surgery, that 9 to 12 months that I was going through it, it was totally worth it. I would totally do it again. I had a beautiful experience. As far as my life now, I definitely, like I said, I eat a lot more. Even the other day, one of my cheat meals, and even my cheats, they ain't too outlandish, but it was Raisin Cane's, no fries, just chicken tenders in the sauce. And I bought 4 tenders just to test myself. And of course, I didn't drink anything while I was eating, because when you drink and eat at the same time, at least for me, that's painful, child. But I got the 4 tenders, ate them all in one sitting, and I was able to eat the whole thing and was full. So yes, as time has gone on, my restriction has eased up. And while I do still have some restriction, it's more so at the place now where it's like, all right, Faye, you done got your jump start, all right? It's time for you to make some good choices. So I have to count my macros and make smart decisions. But that's the normal thing that is supposed to happen. Yes, you do have surgery. Yes, it does give you a benefit. But honestly, the honeymoon period is at first, like the first 6 months. That's when you'll see like the biggest amount of weight loss and things like that. But eventually, it is normal for your restriction to ease up, and you have to make good decisions in order for you to continue to be successful. A lot of people start gaining weight after a year because, like I said, their restriction eases up, and if they haven't done a thing to transform their mind and done their inner work to really like start making good decisions, if they go back to them old habits thinking, oh, this surgery is gonna work for me, no baby, that too gonna stop. And for me, like I said, it just so happened at that year mark I got pregnant, and because at this point I had been making a year's worth of smart choices, child, I let my hair down in my pregnancy. At the time I was married, I was like, baby, it's midnight, I know, but I'm craving some donuts, and he will go get it for me. And so next thing you know, I'm 40 pounds heavier, and I couldn't shake it, like I said, for 6 months. And so eventually, yeah, I mean, the tool still kind of works, but I had to put in that work to get the pregnancy weight off. So that is me telling you, yes, the tool gives you a jump start. Yes, the tool gives you a chance at a new life, but eventually the tool is gonna stop tooling like you used to it tooling, and your brain and your willpower got to take over. So that is all I have to pretty much say about my journey. Like I said, I don't regret nothing. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. The playlist about the entirety of my journey is on my channel. And with that being said, let's get into the questions you all have for me. Do you still see your bariatric doctor or nutritionist? I do not. Do you take your vitamins daily or do you skip days? I unfortunately skip days, but when I do skip days, it catches up to me, and it's more so my iron tablet because I'm anemic. But overall, I don't go too long without my vitamins because I keep them in the same area as my son's, and I make sure he gets his every day. So usually I take mine at the same time I take his. It's just every now and then I forget. So that's that. I'm currently 3 weeks post-op and have stalled for the past 2 weeks. Did this happen to you? Yes. So that is called the 3-week stall. It happens to almost everybody for real. And that's because like after the initial shock your body goes through from surgery, and then you still going through all this liquid diet, around week 3 is when you're incorporating soft foods, and that's a shock to your system. And so a lot of people do notice that they stop losing weight around the 3-week mark. It's your body and your hormones adjusting to all these rapid changes, but trust the process, that way you're gonna fall off. I'm a living witness. Next, has your shoe or clothing style changed? Nah, I always been a fast till a heifer, honey. No, but all jokes aside, the style didn't change at all, with the exception of now I'm open to crop tops. Back then, I never would have did it. Next, what do you eat? What vitamins do you take? I still take a daily vitamin, but instead of the bariatric vitamin, I take a prenatal vitamin because I find that, well, I started taking it during my pregnancy and I just never really stopped, but I find that it's really beneficial for me, especially with my anemia issues. So I just take that, and then I still take Megafood Blood Builder in addition to that, because that's something that I deal with. I should probably continue to take calcium. I have not been taking that. Oops. And then I take hair and nail vitamins. Next, oh, what do I eat? I made a video about that on my channel, but I tend to stay under 1,500 calories a day. I eat higher protein. I think my trainer wanted me eating like around 150 grams of protein, but basically I eat high protein, moderate carbs, low fat. That's what my diet is. Next, are you able to eat regularly now like you did prior to surgery, or there's still restriction? Like I said, my stomach still has just a little bit of restriction, but I can eat pretty normally. The only thing that I have issues with to this day is raw onions. I cannot handle that. I don't eat a lot of bread. Number one, just because of me watching my carb intake. If I'm gonna eat some carbs, I want it to be something a little healthier than bread, but every now and then I do eat it. But I don't go too far, because when my body processes too much bread, it feels weird. Like there's something about bread just don't register well with my body. So I don't eat a lot of that. Once your stomach healed, how did you feel? Could you tell something was different on the inside? I felt completely normal. Like I felt normal. The only time I knew I had surgery was if I overate. But other than that, I didn't feel differently, except for like dehydration and stuff like that. But nah, I didn't feel no different. Next, I know restriction eases over time, but did you go back to your pre-op portion sizes? I'm not quite there, but that's just because like my pre-op portion sizes was out of this world. I wasn't almost 300 pounds, possibly over 300 pounds for nothing. I'm never going back to that, but I definitely eat more than what I did like the year or even 2 years after surgery. Next, I had surgery in June and I've only lost 20 pounds. I'm losing slowly. Any tips? I would definitely say follow up with your doctor, because if that was in June and I'm recording this in November, and then I will say the amount that we lose varies based off our starting body. Like some of us have bigger bodies, and so we lose a lot faster. It all varies, but I definitely say check in with your doctor, because they do have an estimate of what you should and should not have lost by now. And if you're off, they can maybe get with you to work with a dietitian or something like that. But yeah, check with your doctor. Next, when did you start feeling super hungry again? Like hangry, because I'm feeling it. I was almost a year out, and then it just so happened around the time I was pregnant too, so I really felt it. But yeah, around that year mark, but that's when a lot of people start feeling it, because that restriction from the surgery is easing up, and that's when that willpower got to take over. Next, how do you break a stall? For me, and I'm gonna just talk about me, I shock my body. Either I cut down on my protein, I might juice, I might do low carb. It depends on what I feel like I need at that moment, based on what I've been doing as far as what my current diet is. Next, I'm nearly 2 years post-op and having gallbladder issues. Did you have that? And how did your bariatric team handle it? To this day, I've never had an issue with my gallbladder. I've heard other people mention that, and it seems to be kind of common, but thankfully for me, I've never experienced that. But I hope they figured it out and fixed it. How did you get back on track after falling off? I've gained a little weight. Girl, I got a trainer. Next, I'm 3 years post-op. Do you think I can obtain a loss of 50 pounds? Or do I have to have the bypass? You could do anything you put your mind to. Now, if you want to have the other surgery, go right ahead and have the surgery where you convert to the bypass. But can you do 50 pounds on your own naturally? You and I both know the answer to that is yes. But you do what works for you, because listen, I'm all for it, do what makes you happy, but I definitely think you can hold it down on your own if you made the right choices. Next, all right, so the rest of the Instagram questions were pretty repetitive, so let's go to YouTube. What is something you wish you would have known before you had weight loss surgery? The biggest thing was dehydration. I was not prepared for just how bad that would make my body feel at times. Like, it was bad. So other than that, because like most people, like especially if you're watching this video and you're considering surgery, I was obsessed once I made the decision to do it. So I started watching so many stories, so many testimonials, so I can kind of know what to expect. So nothing was really shocking to me other than just how bad you can feel when you're severely dehydrated, baby. I was not ready for that. Child, it felt like I had morning sickness some days. Some days I would just have to wake up and just lay there until my body decided, okay, you can get up now. Because I felt that bad, was vomited. Child, it was a mess. Next, how do you combat cravings? Do you do it with portion control, or do you avoid certain foods altogether? I feel like it is unhealthy mentally to completely avoid certain foods, because I feel like by you consistently avoiding them, eventually the day may come where you might binge. So if I just have to have something, I'll watch my portion and just make sure I keep a small portion of it. But life is to be lived. I'm never gonna tell you to treat certain foods like it's like the abomination or something. Girl, enjoy your life, but at the same time use self-control. But what I also found out in my pregnancy is sometimes when you craving certain things, it's a sign that your body is telling you need it. So when I was pregnant, I went through a phase where I was craving ramen a lot. Like I was eating a lot of it. And then my midwife said, well, I don't think it's really the ramen that you're craving. I think it's that high sodium pack. I think that's your body's way of telling you you are dehydrated. And she was right. So I kind of started looking at what I was craving when I was craving it and seeing what is the main source of nutrients that I'm getting from that food, and then go from there. So like right now, like I don't really eat a lot of beef. I don't buy it for my home. If I'm out and I eat it, so be it. But as far as like cooking it at home, I don't really do that. But there are certain things. I remember one time I had a dream. I was craving a burger, girl, but it turns out I was low on my iron. So just kind of look at what you're craving and then see what's in it and go from there and make the right choice. Next, do you encounter naysayer, people who shade you for having weight loss surgery? If so, how do you clap back or ignore it? For everything you do, it's gonna be a naysayer. If you post yourself working out, somebody gonna say you're doing it for attention. If you get weight loss surgery, people gonna say you got the easy way out. If you get the shots, people gonna say you got the easy way out. Like people always have something to say, but only you can live in your shoes and live your existence. And so that is my thing. People can say whatever. It ain't gonna change the fact that I lost weight. It ain't gonna change the fact that I had surgery. And it ain't gonna change the fact that respectfully, I look good, did them up. I don't regret anything. So you can say whatever you want to. I'm happy I did what I did for me. Now, what I will say, if you are shy and you don't want people's opinion and things like that, because I totally understand. Like, if I didn't have a public platform, I don't know if I would have told necessarily, because people do have strong opinions. But I would definitely say, just like anything concerning your health, you are not obligated to give anybody your story. Live your existence and mind your business, and they need to mind theirs. You don't have to tell nobody nothing. But at the same time, if you choose to say whatever, I mean, I don't necessarily have to clap back. I just choose to ignore, because I feel like my results speak for itself. You can feel what you feel about my surgery, but are you gonna tell me I don't look good? Oh, okay, thanks. How did you get into the mental space to stay consistent? Realistically, I just changed my habits because, like I said, I really did take this as a second chance. And in the beginning, I was walking through it with a therapist. Then when I fell off again, I started walking through it with a trainer. Basically, I changed for real on the inside, and because it became an actual lifestyle for me, like I don't do this just for social media. I live this for real. It just became a habit. So that's how I stay consistent now. Like I really changed my life for real. Next. Any tips on how to maximize the weight loss in the first stage after surgery before it slows down? Your surgeon is doing mine on the 27th. Oh, tell him I said hi. I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good head start. I want to lose about 150 pounds. I would definitely say, although I didn't do this, and it slowed down my weight loss, I would have lost way more than 90-something pounds if I had did it. But eat lower carbs. For me, I kept my carbs up because I didn't want to lose my hair. But if that's not something you're concerned about, eat a lower carb diet and you'll really maximize that weight loss in the beginning. But I'm wishing you all the best. I hope you have a smooth recovery. Oh, you got straight to it. Next, what would be your advice to someone who cannot afford weight loss surgery or afford a trainer? Okay, so I love working with a trainer, but the reality is a trainer will push you, and sometimes you may not feel like being pushed. And so I have been working with my trainer on and off for a little bit over a year. The last time I took an extended break from him was from December of last year to February. I just needed some time off to be free. Like I still was working out and I still ate pretty clean, but I didn't want to push myself to the level that he pushes me. So I took a break. And so like right now I'm on a break. I haven't seen him since August. I probably will go back probably in December because I want to go before the New Year's resolution folks come in. Like, I love y'all, but I don't like working out when y'all at the gym. So anyway, I say all that to say right now, because I'm not working with a trainer, I utilize TikTok. There's so much free information available to you. Like, I already know how to eat clean, but as far as working out, I'll pick what part of my body I want to train today. I'm always going to do cardio every day, every time that I work out, but I pick, like, if I want to work out my triceps, I get on TikTok and I look up routines and it'll show you how to do it. So just, that's something that you can use, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Search for what you want to work on, and you could do it. Child, it's so much free information in this world. You ain't got to pay nobody if you don't want to. I paid for accountability, but do I need it to work out? Girl, nah, neither do anybody else. I just like to have it. So anyway, next, what are the mental changes that came with weight loss? Number one, an increase in confidence, not because necessarily I look different, which I do. I like how I look, but the confidence came in the fact that I had a goal, I locked into it, and I saw it all the way through, and seeing what I was capable of doing. I'm like, baby, I can do anything. If I can do that, if I can master what I put in my mouth, I can do anything. So the confidence is through the roof. Did you incorporate God into your weight loss journey? If so, how? What verses, prayers, declarations did you rely on? What prayer did you pray before you pray? What prayer did you pray before making a decision to get surgery? And how did God answer you? Hope this question is not too personal. It's not too personal at all. I definitely prayed, because again, even though my story ended up good and I heard some good stories, there were also some horror stories. So I definitely pray for protection. I pray for guidance. I ask God that if it was not meant for me to do this, don't let it happen. I ask God to give me strategies and discipline to be successful afterwards. As far as verses and declarations, I can't really think anything off the top of my head, but I definitely have prayed this entire journey. Anything that I do, whether it's business, my health, my family, anything, I always include God. And so yeah, I definitely just stay prayerful throughout the whole time. And even now, if I feel myself falling off, I ask God to deal with me, let me see what's going on in me that's causing me to not make good decisions for me, so I can address that, get to the root of that, and then go ahead and be successful. So that has helped me a lot. It's just like keeping God involved definitely has helped me to be successful. Love you so much. How much was the surgery? So it depends on your state. Hey, beautiful, I was wondering, and I'm sorry if you answered this, but did you partake in intermittent fasting at any time in your journey? Yes. I don't do it often, and I try not to promote it too often because I don't want it to seem like I'm promoting starvation to lose weight. That ain't responsible. But I definitely do intermittent fast, especially if I'm seeing a stall a little bit. What I'll do is I'll cut off my eating time around 7 o'clock p.m. And my eating window would be pretty much 11 a.m. to 7. And then after that, I just do water. So every now and then, but it's more so if I feel like I'm seeing a stall, but that doesn't happen too often, so I don't feel like I have to. So yeah. And the rest of the questions are pretty much things that I have touched on before, like whether I've gained weight in the past. Yeah, I have, and then I got a trainer to get it off of me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope this video helped. If you are considering this journey, I wish you the absolute best. I'm telling you, different people have different experiences, but as far as my experience, I had an amazing experience. I just wish I would have done it sooner. It has really benefited my health. It has really benefited my confidence. Overall, this has been beautiful for me. So don't let everybody scare you. Is there some risk? Yes. But if you feel like the reward is greater than the risk, I say go for it. Get you a great doctor. See what your doctors think about it. And if they say you a candidate, girl, go get your life back. Got to, because you know, it ain't girl sis to watch me all the time. So that is it for this video. If y'all have any questions, leave it down below. I love y'all. Maki Dada, and I'm out this piece. Bye. Child, let me go get some water. I feel very white coming on. Bye.